Zach Johnson here on the Rich Eisen Show. Zach, thanks for calling in. I appreciate it.
No, hey, my pleasure. Thanks for having me, Rich.
Oh, you bet. How much sleep have you had?
Not much. But I will say probably more than I anticipated at this point.
Okay.
It's been an hour here, an hour there, and I'm still kind of in a state of shock, and I've got some adrenaline, and when you got three little kids running on you, that keeps you on your toes.
Can you walk me through your emotions, why you were feeling the way you were?
Sure. It's really. It's not the easiest to describe. It's one where, the nerves of the situation certainly have surfaced. But I would say more than that, the emotion of just knowing what could happen or what's about to happen or what might happen is all kind of relevant and certainly there. And, it's really one of those times when you get down to it. As it's kind of unfolding, you're so just trying to stay in the present. And I have my own little ways of mentally trying to do that, trying to fixate on certain things and that sort of thing, and just the things I can control more or less. And then, when it does hit you, it's kind of an unleashing and it's an opening of just so many emotions that it's hard to control. But I think we've seen it in all sports and certainly in golf. When those situations and those moments happen, things just unravel, and I think you can probably see the trueness of everybody at that point.
Well, how are you able to keep your emotions in check when you're in a three-man playoff at the birthplace of golf and an opportunity to add a Claret Jug to your green jacket is upon you, Zach?
Well, I think there's a few things. First of all, I try not to make it any bigger deal than what it really should be. I know the gravity of it. I know the weight of the situation. I get that. It's a big deal, and I understand that. But yet, it's still just a game. I'm playing golf, for a living. Let's be honest. That's pretty awesome. So, you know what? I savor and relish the opportunities when I'm in contention. If it just so happens that I can claim the title, well, then that's why I practice. And so that's kind of what I go back to, and that's how I kind of try to get through. I'm like, you know what? You worked to get to this point. Let's keep doing what you're doing, and if it happens, great. And then, alongside of that, another thing that I kind of cling to is, as a man of faith, I have verses in my head. I kind of recite that, and it keeps me at peace. It keeps me level-headed. It keeps perspective. And I think, if anything, it just allows me to go out there and play, like I said, just play golf.
You are aware your caddy, Damon Greene, was holding up his hand for a high five for quite some time, Zach, right?
Yeah, I was made aware of that by multiple people in the last 24 hours. At the time, I was kind of like, okay, my yardage book, what can I do differently on 18 to allow myself a better opportunity for birdie on the next hole? I was expecting him to make it. It's kind of like match play at that point. Mm-hmm. You expect your opponent or the individual you're putting to make the putt. So that way you got to mentally process the next shot, the next hole, et cetera. And that's kind of the mode I was in. And then obviously when it slipped by the hole, I'm like, did this just really just happen? It was one of those moments it's still surreal, but at that time it was just a little bit of disbelief, and the emotions as we witnessed came out. But yeah, I left my man hanging, Damon. I don't think he's too upset about it. I don't think I need to apologize. I was just, caught a little off guard. You don't like to see someone miss a putt to lose a tournament. I was just fortunate that I put myself in a position that I had some strokes there to give away.
No, I don't think you need to apologize to someone who does a chicken dance when you birdie at the birthplace of golf on 18, Zach, on your 72nd hole in regulation.
Yeah, he's kind of got that dance down. I'm not. Yeah, it's his deal. I'll let him do it. He's been doing it for years. It was passed down from Hawk Harrelson, the great White Sox baseball player. He was a good friend of his, and he just has continued it on and on. And if that's his prerogative, that's fine. Whatever. It's his moment too. We're a team.
Yeah, and it's a heck of a moment too. I'm on the phone with Zach Johnson, 2015 Open champion. Your relationship with Jordan Spieth. You guys are friends, and Spieth was there after a disappointing personal moment for him, but he was there to congratulate you. What is your relationship with Spieth like, Zach?
Well, yeah, I wouldn't even know where to start on this. It's not very long. Obviously, he's only been on tour now for 2.5, 3 years. But in that time span, I feel like we've got to be pretty good friends. I mean, we're still, whatever, we're 17, 18 years apart. But I think we kind of approach the game the same way. We both see the same guy for our physio makeup, if you will, Dr. Van Beesen. So we got the same team kind of thing. And I just appreciate how he goes about it. I'd like to take credit for kind of launching his career because he did blade a sand wedge in the John Deere Classic and hold out a bunker shot that kind of catapulted his career. So I guess to some degree he can be thankful for that. But
he does call you a mentor, Zach. He definitely does call you a mentor. There's no question about that.
That's because of my age. No. And I appreciate that. I mean, we've gotten to play a lot together and certainly had great discussions together. And the best part about Jordan, I really don't understand everything inside of him because I think he has that phenom quality and that kind of innate ability to do things that, only so many athletes and certainly golfers are able to do at a young age. I don't understand that, but I do appreciate how he goes about his work. And more than that, I appreciate and respect Jordan Spieth, the person, because, and you guys do a great job, at least trying to describe who he is and what he is. And he is a better person than he is even a golfer, and he's a tremendous talent.
It says quite a bit. I'm on the phone with Zach Johnson, fresh back from the British Open, and you flew back with Spieth and a bunch of other players, correct? Isn't that true?
Yeah, we had that arranged a few days prior to that Monday. We were expecting a Sunday finish, clearly, but
yes.
With the Monday finish, we tried to get, it was just one of those things that worked out, and we got a bunch of guys together, family, friends, and whatnot, just to get back to the States. And, it was fun. I mean, it's one of those things, you're playing, you're competing against some of your good friends. I mean, you're with them 25 to 30 some weeks a year, they're going to become friends.
Sure.
And, so, as you know, I mean, in sports, you're trying to beat them. At the end of the day, I mean, my goodness, you certainly want to take the time and enjoy what your friends have done. And that was one of those moments. I mean, those guys, certainly Jordan, Webb Simpson, Horschel, Duff, Jimmy Walker, Harris English, and some other folks, my wife and Caddy, just to be there together and have fun. And even though it was a long trip, we still had a great time.
Now, do you bring the Claret Jug into the cabin with you, Zach?
Oh yeah. It had a hard time leaving my hands. I don't know if there's a magnetism to it or what, but it's got that sort of stickiness to it right now. It's kind of
it's tough. Tough to take out of you. So, does it have its own bag, its own crate? How does the Claret Jug travel, Zach?
That's a great question. They actually presented with me with this nice travel case. It's a hard-covered. I guess it kind of reminds me of like what you put an instrument into.
Okay.
That kind of travel case, kind of metal on the siding, and it's obviously soft interior. So it's got a nice little bed when it's not in my arm. Yeah.
And on Twitter, Zach, you had a lot of people tweeting at you. Congratulations. One just jumped off of my timeline because I work with him, and you went to the same high school, Regis High School in Cedar Rapids. Kurt Warner is tweeting out at you, Zach.
Yeah, how about that? We were just texting, actually. Kurt, you talk about just phenomenal people right there. I mean, he was the guy that all of us kids looked up to. I mean, he's 4 or 5 years older than me, so we're basically in the same time span there. But he was the athlete at Regis in my hometown. Obviously played football. He probably could have played basketball in college too. He was just an all-around great athlete. So, the years went on. Obviously, there was no reason and no way to really keep in touch. But as of late, since when his career started to wind down and mine's kind of picking up, we've gotten to be better friends, and I think we have a lot in common. I think our perspective on life is very common, and he's a great family guy and a guy that I certainly could call for anything, and I'm so appreciative of that because he's a true Iowan, removed much like me, but we don't forget our roots, and Kurt is again a tremendous football player. I wouldn't even know where to start on that. Yeah. A better person off the field, as you know.
The Rich Eisen Show, weekdays at noon Eastern. On Audience.